Hello everyone, Nathan here, and today I want to talk a little bit about FIFA 17. Now, every year a new FIFA game comes out, and every year I see the accusations that the game is no different than last year's version, and that all the update is a £50 roster change. Now, I'm the guy who buys the game every year no matter what anyway, but over the past couple of years when my friends have asked me why they should buy the new one rather than just sticking with the older versions, I've found it hard to come up with a proper answer. This year though, I feel like I can answer them a little bit better. Now, there are some changes in game that we'll go over in a little bit, but I mainly want to talk today about The Journey, which is a new story mode for FIFA, and it's what I immediately gravitated to when I downloaded the game. Now, I'm sure there are a lot of people out there thinking that a story mode in a sports game doesn't really make much sense, but for someone who's dreamed of being a top footballer since they were a little kid like me, this mode offers an insight to what that might be like. The Journey lets you take control of a young Alex Hunter and shape how his career develops. Even with your first action in the entire campaign, you get to make Alex the hero as you score, or indeed miss, a penalty in the Under-11s Cup final. Although it's fairly easy to score given how massive those nets are compared to the size of the keeper. Now, I don't want to give away too much of the story, so we'll keep this mainly about the gameplay and what the mode is like rather than specific things that happen in it, but as you progress you'll get more minutes on the pitch for your chosen club, level up your stats, and see how your relationships develop. A lot of the key moments of your career take place in cutscenes, but thankfully there's a conversation system that allows you to choose how you react to the situations that unfold. Now, it remains to be seen how much influence the choices you make have on your career, as I've certainly noticed at least once where my conversation choice appeared to have no effect at all on what actually happened. I have been getting really immersed in what's going on though, and I want to see what's going to happen next. I do, however, have a few issues with The Journey, none of which really ruin the experience, but some certainly hold it back. Firstly, I want to mention the fact that you have a set character. You are Alex Hunter, and you have no choice in that. He looks how he looks, and he has a set background. Now, for me, I obviously wanted to make myself in-game and pretend I'm on the road to being a pro. But aside from self-centered, ego-driven issues like the one I have there, this actually has an impact on the game. The fact that you can't change Alex in any way means there's no potential for you ever to be the big target man up front or a massive bruising centre-back, because his body type limits you on what playstyles you can use. I realise there are limitations on what can be done to solve that problem. I mean, I played NBA 2K16 as a 6'10" white kid with much shorter black parents, and that pretty much broke the immersion, but I still would have appreciated a little bit more customization. On the storytelling side of things, a few of the acting performances seem a bit stunted, and the interactions between characters don't seem all that realistic. Quite a few of the characters have been given over-the-top regional British accents, and that just doesn't seem to fit with how people actually talk.
For most of you, today's trial will be the end of the road, but for some, it could be the start of the professional career you've all been working towards.
Alongside that, cameos from footballers like Harry Kane and Marco Reus really do prove why they're professional players rather than actors. Honestly, it's not too bad, and I never thought I'd find myself moaning about acting in a FIFA game, so I can put up with it, and largely ignore the slightly awkward moments where the characters wait for me to make my response, and the other odd issues that the conversation system adds. One final small issue I want to mention with the actual matches in The Journey is that I've been in several games where the referee has added no minutes of injury time, which has basically never happened in any real game of football. I mean, there's always a stoppage, the ball always goes out of play, someone is always fouled, so it's very odd to see that in FIFA 17. I assume this is because I came off the bench and the game only started counting stoppages from that point, and while it's not the end of the world, it should be an easy fix and probably something that should have been caught before the game was released. Overall though, I've loved playing The Journey so far. It's got a subject matter that really interests me, it allows me to live out my childhood fantasies, and more than anything else, it's something truly new in the FIFA franchise, which we haven't had in a long time. And I feel now when someone says, why should I buy the new FIFA, I actually have an answer. Just before we finish then, I want to quickly talk about the game outside of The Journey, and some of the tweaks that have been made to how matches actually play out. Now for me, the switch to the Frostbite engine hasn't really made too much of a difference, apart from a slight graphical improvement, which is mainly noticeable when you play in the rain and look as the water rolls down the faces of all the players. Don't get me wrong, it looks really good and is an appreciated addition into the game, it just doesn't change how the game really plays at all. The greatest improvement for me though comes in the form of the new set piece system, which allows you to pick an area where you want to put the ball and how hard you want to hit it. It just seems to make more sense to me, because if you think about it, as a professional footballer, you'd have some idea of where you want to hit the ball, and this system just seems more realistic than the old one. Other than that though, FIFA 17 feels like a refinement on FIFA 16, an evolution rather than a revolution, to use a massively overused phrase. And to be honest, I'm fine with that. FIFA has a particular feel that it's had for several years, and a lot of people out there love it, so I'd much rather see them try to improve on what they've got instead of completely starting over again, and I'd have no problem recommending FIFA 17 to anyone who's enjoyed the past FIFA games. So that's about it for today, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, I'd be very appreciative of a like down below, let me know what you think of the new FIFA in the comments, and subscribe for more like this if you haven't already. Anyway, I've been Nathan, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.